Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has apologised for believing that Lord Mandelson's lies about his relationship with paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and addressed the growing anger amongst his own MPs about the scandal. Right, well, he came under a lot of heat yesterday, Jane, and it's not going away. I mean, obviously, PMQs, as he referenced there, but really from within his own party, Angela Rayner seeming to lead the charge. Will this quieten the calls for his head down, do you think?
I doubt that very much. I think he's dead man walking.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a decent enough guy, but I think if you take the accumulation of a lot of the things that have happened since he's taken over as PM, I think this is going to be the final nail in the coffin. And, I mean, everybody's coming out now, so they're sort of saying, you know, the vetting failed. The Housing Secretary, Steve Reed, is blaming the intelligence services. Keir Starmer saying he didn't know the depth and the darkness around Mandelson's friendship with Epstein. But, you know, Mandelson, you know, he was sacked from the cabinet for not declaring a 373 grand interest-free loan from a multimillionaire. He was sacked from the cabinet a second time when he intervened to speed up a British passport for a billionaire.
I mean,
no, but hang on.
But if it was a misjudgment then...
No, but what I'm saying is, we knew all this.
Yeah.
We knew all this. And then also, the Prime Minister is now saying that he knew that he had an ongoing friendship with a man who was doing prison time for soliciting sex from minors. In fact, it was in the media at the time that Mandelson stayed in Epstein's house in 2009 whilst he was in prison. Do we need a vetting procedure to know all of that?
Well,
we
yeah,
don't.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that has already been interrogated and he carried on.
There has to be a point where you go, is it wise to give somebody with all of these clues this big job in the heart of government?
I do agree with you, but I'm just saying that's the discussion that we had last time. Now he's saying that Mandelson lied, that he didn't know the depth and the darkness of what was going on, and these documents will be released.
But he knew he had an ongoing friendship. That's enough.
But we knew that 6 months ago. We knew that a year ago.
No, but what I hope comes out of the files, and whether they are redacted, all this language you're so used to now with America, is that, as Jane just said, so he was sacked twice. He knew that he was still friends with him.
But we're going over...
Why would... No, hang on, one second.
But he's saying the vetting has failed.
One second is, why would you give such an important position, American ambassador, like the ambassador to America, if you just knew those things? Because what I wonder is, what could we find out that led him to give him that job? Because it seems really fishy to me.
That's...
No, but it does. That's my reaction. And the reaction of many...
But hang on, the new thing he's
but...
saying is, I didn't know the depth and darkness. What I'm saying is, did he need to know the depth and darkness? There's enough other stuff out there. I get what you're both saying.
All I'm saying is we had that discussion 6 months and a year ago. It's what we do now and whether or not this is...
No, but I'm hoping that in the files we find out why he gave a man that clearly shouldn't have been given that job. Why did he give him that job? What was going on behind the scenes?
And if we do find that out, then...
Well, we probably won't, because we're not going to see all the files.
Is what the general public are hoping for and wishing for from any member of Parliament, that someone in government, that there's an element of transparency, that ultimately there can be some honesty, which then leads to trust. And the fact that if it's someone that's prepared to say, I'm sorry, does admit guilt. And in a sense, that's useful information, I think, for the public to start having a bit of faith. But is it too late?
The other thing is, what informs this in terms of the Labour MPs, Angela Rayner heading the charge yesterday, in terms of why they want Starmer to go? Do they want Starmer to go because they think it's for the good of the country, for the good of all of us, for tackling the cost of living crisis, for education? No, it's because of their own personal ambitions. Yeah. I mean, Angela Rayner,
her tax situation is not resolved yet.
Yeah. I mean,
so she's in no position to...
For apparently not paying enough stamp duty.
But, I mean, Penny's right. No, but I think what the public are just thinking is all of this is a sideshow. What we want is you know, a government that sorts out the cost of living crisis, etc., etc.
100%.
All of this is unnecessary noise, and could it have been avoided by looking at Mandelson's history and going, Do you know what? I'm actually just not going to touch that appointment.
Very poor decision.
In the first
Yeah, I
place.
agree. I do agree with you on that, absolutely. And I mean, I think Keir Starmer has admitted that was a misjudgment, that was a mistake. He shouldn't have done it, there's no question. But in terms of all the furore now, what is it about? And I would suggest it's about personal ambition on the part of certain Labour
but is it
MPs,
not also...
as opposed to, how's it going to benefit us?
But is it not also, Kay, that many MPs have felt that they've had to go out and explain away decisions that he made, that he's done the U-turns on, but right at the beginning there was really difficult decisions. The two-child
politics.
cap,
No, but do you know what
no, but is that it can't? Is it not just everybody wants power? Is it that they believe he's not the right man for the party because he's so unpopular?
They want to save their seats.
They want to save their seats. They want power, but they are turkeys voting for Christmas because actually all this is doing is shooing in reform.
But saving
the polls are. If there was a general election tomorrow,
be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
I guess,
I don't trust Keir Starmer at all. I don't.
And that's entirely up to you.
And I don't think
that.
we should just do politics. Let's just stick with this so that we don't get that. We just need to be better, and we need to ask for more, and we need to ask for more transparency and more honesty. And I've just got a files feeling going on.
Do you think
this
you get
person
that from
says?
Nigel Farage?
No, of course not. You know very well that I would be completely against.
You've got to think
completely against. No, but you can't just keep lowering the standards to make sure. And maybe, yes, people will be looking for power, but maybe also because he's so unpopular, Keir Starmer, maybe that Labour are thinking we need to get somebody else in now before all is lost. Because at the moment, there's an awful lot of people that will never vote Labour again. An awful lot of people.
Yeah, well...
And I certainly wouldn't, as long as he's in.
OK. Well, there you go.
Clear on
It's an opinion show. I've got strong opinions.
Yep.